Reorient, riding the unknown. Let's begin this module with a different kind of warm-up. I want you again to find the sit bones and the coccyx and sitting square in that triangular base, just sitting securely in it. And as we do that, we'll find the spinal column rising comfortably up out of that and the head just balanced as if on top of a golf tee. And let your tail fall into the ground. So if you joined us for other modules, you would have done this before, but we're going to be doing something a little bit different with the energies of this exercise today. So imagine that your tail just extends out and touches the ground behind you, and use your synesthetic senses. Let it smell the ground behind you. Let it really explore, and let your body wiggle with that exploration. So really feel like you fall in and look behind and then look around in all that space behind you. See what it can see. Really, all of our bodies are active all the time. The whole of the body is a sensory organ. All of the skin breathes. There's space inside the body. All the organs talk to each other. Sometimes what is the unknown is actually already there anyway. So we're going to be exploring some tools today in this module which are about incorporating something that's just about to come into recognition. Something that we didn't know how it fits, how it can be incorporated into a sentence. And it's a really good way of exercising our skills in accommodation and flexibility, again, particularly in times when we've been so disrupted and we're so uncertain about where our feet can anchor. There's always process, there's always information, there's always knowledge, there's always wisdom to come to us. So let's explore. So still with your eyes closed if that's what you're comfortable with. Or I have my eyes closed, you can have yours open just to get a bit of a sense of what's going on. Just rub your hands gently together and place the palm of one hand against any part of your body that you think is talking to you. I seem to be a bit hyperactive in my solar plexus at the moment, so I'm just going to let my hand sit there. For you, it might be you need to touch the back of your head. And notice that soft, lovely relationship between the membrane of your hand and the body, and the breath moving your hand. And pay attention to the pulse of this place. Pay attention to, as if it's a landscape of its own, okay? If you could draw that or hear that, is it like a series of mountains? Is it like a babbling brook? Let yourself free associate with whatever information is there. Could be the simple rhythm of the breath, or it could be more complex than that. It could be layers upon layers upon layers of information. Just let yourself accompany your own body in its process, what it's trying to communicate. Okay. And when you're ready, just do a little squiggle on your page that you have with you. Use your non-dominant hand and maybe do a sketch of what that is like, what that one place in your body is doing. Here's mine. Okay, happy little solar plexus. Okay, and if I were to engage with another part of my body, it might be here. And again, with my dominant or non-dominant hand, by instinct I've chosen a different colour, and this is what I'm drawing here. Okay, so all I'm doing is documenting information. Information that will become part of a story that we're going to put together. So now we just want to go a little bit further with that same type of exercise. We're going to make it even more dynamic, and we're going to keep asking, what else is there? How can we translate it? What does it feel like? What's its dynamic? What's its expression? Okay. So we've done this exercise before. Now let's amplify it. We have done this rocking motion in the spine. Okay? It's like a snake. And let that become bigger. You can do this in a chair or standing up, whatever's comfortable for you. Now, just for yourself, for exactly today, think whether you feel it's really flowing, or whether this waterfall feeling is cold or cool, or my body actually feels a bit gritty. So I'm actually going to let that gritty sense take over. And I'm going to just sort of sit in that. It's not very comfortable, but hey, it's just a sensation, so I'm going to go with it. I'm going to go with this while I've got it here in my body. I'm just going to draw that dynamic because it's gritty, okay? And it had this quality to it. I'm just going to draw a circle around that so you can see I've drawn it on the same page as before, okay? And I'm going to write that word gritty because gritty is really important. So what we are doing is acknowledging a sensation and a dynamic and a quality, amplifying it, heightening it, enacting it, and then finding a word to describe it. So we're bringing out adjectives and adverbs, okay? So over to you with your sensation. Now, let's just mark a second one. And then a third one and a fourth one and a fifth one. But I'm just going to demonstrate a second one or exercise one with you. Okay, so I'm going to do, we've done this before as well. It's the butterfly motion, so let that happen between your shoulder blades. So your chest becomes concave and convex, and your wings can be flapping about behind you. Think of these beautiful wide wings coming out from your scapulae behind you, and so letting those wings actually tickle the space behind you. And flap a bird out of the way because your wings are enormous. Okay, now enjoy it. So stay with that motion, make it maximal and then minimize it. And then see what the other quality is in your body that might be there. I feel like a jiggling thing is happening. I didn't know that was there, but it's come about because I've let my body be moved, okay? This is probably completely different from what is happening in your body, but just see if you can deepen your engagement, amplify the sensations, the recognition, go deeply into it. It might have a shape. It's probably got a colour that's suggesting itself to you. Grab a piece of paper or the same piece of paper and draw that dynamic as well. So we're giving these impulses agency in the world. We're actually allowing them to be expressed and become visible, okay? So mine was jiggling, and I'm going to write down the word jiggle. And I might even make up some other words to the side of it. Friggle, fraggle, hopscotch. It's a bit of free association we're doing, okay? Great. And over to you. Spend as much time as you like creating 1, 2, 3, 4 or 5 stimuli out of this process. And just press the pause button on your video while you do that. Great, hope you're enjoying this. I mean, it can be quite confronting, but it's also quite energising, and just let yourself sit in the energy of all those things. There are all these dynamics that we normally don't pay attention to. Okay, so by now you've probably got a sequence of sketches and a series of words, and have them out in front of you so that you can be able to glance at them. And what we're doing is actually building a vocabulary that we're going to work with over the next, however long it takes you, 10, 20 minutes, however long you want to spend on this exercise, okay? So we're actually putting down this vocabulary to call on, to take glances at, to begin to incorporate as we write through in the exercise that's to follow. So these are just a couple I've got here. Yours will look different. You might have them in columns, doesn't matter, just having them visible. I've got fraggle and gritty, as part of my exercises. You saw the drawings before. And we're just going to take this one more moment to just again settle in our bodies, find your coccyx, find your breath, feeling the breath actually just working its way at the rib cage. And a few modules ago, we showed you a drawing of all the inner organs and how they talk to each other within the Chinese medical system. So we'll just quickly flash up that drawing again for you. You can have a look at that and remember what that looks like. And then we're going to come back into the body itself and just see, just do a scan and ask yourself, ask your body, liver, heart, kidneys, left lung, right lung, spleen, digestive system. And if you want to, you can think about your pituitary or your thymus gland or your thyroid. Wherever your mind lands is where the heat is and the energy and the information is, okay? So don't worry if it washed over your brain. If all you're left with is the heart, then stay in the heart, okay? And construct a very short phrase, my heart is, or my thyroid is, or my thyroid wants, or my liver says. Okay, just spend a little bit of time with that. Let your organs speak to you. Okay, over to you, and write that down. So now we're going to enter an exercise in which I'm going to ask you to, every so often, just check in that you're breathing, check in that you're aware of where your tailbone is sitting, check in that you're about your presence, check in about the volume of space inside the body and outside the body. Okay? But we're going to actually begin by building a short paragraph that wants to grow. It wants to grow because all of these elements are wanting to talk to you. And as we go, we're going to be putting up a few stimulus images and giving you some stimulus phrases which you can choose to glance at and then bring in. The only rule is to bring in one element or quality from whatever it is you're attracted to each time that happens, okay? So you get a few minutes of writing through, and then you're given a stimulus, and we're just asking you to incorporate something from what you're offered, and then keep moving forward, okay? There's a momentum, we're moving forward, and moving forward whilst staying in your body, okay? So we'll be issuing reminders, stimuli, and within this framework of allowing the passage to come forth, okay? So let's begin. If it pleases you, we could begin with something that's like your organ talking. My liver says, and begin to write. Now, I'm very happy for you to decide that it's my aunt came in the door and she said her husband's liver was so fierce the night before that, and go with that. But we need an anchor point, and the anchor point will need to be something to do with an agent, an action, a dynamic, a sense of time, a sense of location. And we have those words up for you on the screen, and you can jot them down. And every so often just keep going back to these as key words or key stimuli to keep you moving forward. Okay, so let's begin. Some form of my liver or heart or lungs have been saying this, and go forth. And as you continue writing and you continue glimpsing at your own drawings and your own words on your paper, and remembering to breathe, I'm now going to offer you some words, and you can either write them all down or just let your ear pick up one of them and then bring it in and keep writing. Bring it into your words, bring it into the work. A butterfly, a handbag, a rhinoceros, an acid taste, a low rumble. And keep moving forward, keep writing. Remember the dynamics in what you've drawn. Keep breathing. Keep listening. And when it's the right moment for you, just take a glimpse at these visuals that we have on the screen. And using your breath, just see what you're attracted to in them. Let your body make the choice and bring it into your writing. And keep moving forward. And when it's right for you, see if you can incorporate one or more of these phrases as you keep moving forward. A rumble, a hieroglyph, gravel, sausage roll, having a hat helped. She lost her way. And keep moving forward. Glancing across at your own lists, your own drawings. Remembering something from earlier in the session in terms of a movement pattern, a colour, a breathscape. And now there's an instruction here which I'd like you to interpret any way you wish. The instruction will have to do with how you sense you are travelling and moving, and the instruction is to change direction and keep writing. So you can continue this exercise as long as you wish. All you need to do is press the pause button and keep writing, and keep being stimulated by whatever's around you in the room or outside the window, or looking up other images for yourself, and keep moving forward. And the exercise will tell you when it's complete. It will actually come to its own finish, just as sensations do. But what we'd like to share with you once you have finished is some examples that were from our workshop when we managed to do it together in the room and on Zoom, just to show you how fluid and what kind of places we can go in our writing, and allowing things to leak through into our process from really unusual places and surprising places. So here are some examples. Take as long as you need to sit with them. I hope you've enjoyed being with us on this journey through interruptions and writing the unknown. The source for some of this work is my own bodywork practice, but it's also something taught to me by the Melbourne playwright Jenny Kemp, who in turn was taught by Isabel Allende about utilising images and phrases as sources of inspiration that at the same time are interruptions that find their way into your work. So I do hope you enjoy that, practice it as you will. It's also an exercise in the exquisite corpse and allowing components from whether they're different structures or different kinds of creatures, just seeing how they can become a new creature in themselves. So enjoy. Thank you for joining us. See you at the next module.